What is good, ladies and gentlemen? What is good? What is good tonight? I am Cheats, and you are checking into the Black Baseball Mixtape live edition. This is Thursday night. We are live. It is in the absolute midst of a critical, pivotal wild card game 3, which is the Brewers and the Mets. It is 0-0 in the bottom of the fourth. The Brewers are threatening now with 2 outs. So I'm going to bring in my resident Mets homer and the right-hand man senior correspondent to the
Yes, sir.
mixtape, Flobo. Flobo, how you feeling? You're feeling better than I am. But how are
I
you
got.
feeling?
I want to ask you that, man. We'll get to Baltimore in a second. I
Well,
got like
let's not
three.
do it.
We should though. I got
Okay.
like 3 screens
Okay.
open like Batman, just trying to
Right.
see who's going to win this game. I think we got a good chance, but they're not making it easy.
They're not making it easy. Like I said, we are live. So this is 2 outs in the bottom of the fourth. The Brewers have a runner on third. For the most part, Quintana's been dealing. So he's been doing his thing. They've gotten some base. And here it is. Ground ball back to the pitcher. Inning over. No runs. We're going into the top of the fifth, Flobo. No runs scored. But we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot of people to bring on. I'm very excited to do this. Got some first timers and an old homie. I'm going to start with the old homie. Let me bring in my man Troy Justice. Troy, welcome to the program, man. I see you rocking the Detroit. We're going to
You
talk
already know
about
what
it.
it is.
We're going to talk about it, but I feel really good about my Detroit pick right now today. Troy, how you feeling, my guy?
I felt like we are on top of the world over here in the city.
That's a good question, though, because again, we watch this. We know that the Tigers are hot. There are teams that really do kind of the city embraces, the city picks up. And I mean, obviously, everybody cheers for their hometown team. But Detroit these days have a lot of distractions. Look, the Lions are good. That changes everything. So it's a
Oh
really
yeah.
a Lions town, and the Lions are good. Do you think the Detroit community understands what's happening with this team right now with the Tigers?
Oh yeah. It's really is everywhere. Like everyone's tapped in all walks of life in Detroit. Like rappers are making songs about the Tigers. People are people are bringing back the old jerseys. I'm seeing Maglio Ordonez jerseys and Miguel Cabrera and Brandon Inge. Like people are dusting their Tiger stuff off and putting it on. So it's the vibes are great. The Lions are doing good, and the Tigers on top of that, and the Red Wings are building momentum. We just need the Pistons to get it together.
No, that's a long haul. That's
Yo,
a
man, look
long
at you
haul.
just
But
making a wish list.
speaking of immaculate vibes, let's bring in a first time guest to the mixtape, all the way out in the Pacific Northwest, my man Don Dishes.
Yes,
Welcome,
sir.
my brother. Welcome to the mixtape, man.
Happy to be here, y'all. Happy to be here.
I'm excited to talk to you because I know you're a baseball fan, a Mariners fan. You're doing all kinds of things. You're into music, you're into art, you're into fashion.
No doubt.
I love it all, my brother. What's the vibes out there for the playoffs right now? And I mean, obviously, we had a lot of expectations
Of
for the
course.
Mariners this season. They did
Mhm.
not. They did not make the playoffs. What's the vibes out there?
Yeah. Bittersweet. But somewhat expected, being a Mariners fan, that seems to be our trend right now. So it hurts, it hurts to see it again and again and again. But but I'm
Oh
a
no.
diehard, you know what I mean? I gotta stick with them. My boys will get it right. We're putting pieces together.
What about Julio Rodriguez? This is the big question when we
Mhm.
look at Mariners. Everything
Yeah,
is Julio.
right.
Julio, I, I had him on the fantasy team, so I know
Yeah,
how
yeah.
bad it got.
Yeah, it
What,
got tough. It
what,
got tough.
what happened? How? Like I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. The guy is way too talented not to be a marquee player in Major League Baseball. I mean, it
for
was just
sure.
was it just down all year?
No, not all year. I think that finding a groove is a thing in ball, right? You find your groove, you find your rhythm. And I think that there was somewhat of a rhythm beginning to be established. And then, I feel like, over here we watched our culture get real weird in the clubhouse. As you saw, we got rid of that coach, right?
Mhm.
And he got hurt. That was horrible. And then for some reason we brought him in too soon. I'm just gonna say it. We brought him back too soon during an injury, and that's when you started seeing like a lot of 4 at-bat strikeouts. And
Mhm.
I really, that hurt. But then you saw him kick into gear late, right? Toward the end, started doing his thing, started firing off. So I don't want to put that all on my boy. You know what I mean? We we hit strides. We hit strides and we up and down. He's a young buck. He's still doing his thing.
How
Um,
old? How old is Rodriguez?
23.
Rodriguez, 23.
23, maybe 24
Okay.
now.
Okay.
That's a young buck, in
Super
my
young.
opinion. Yeah. So yeah, not all on the boy. I think that there's a lot of things that are going on here that need to be fixed to get everybody on point.
Oh well. I don't know. I don't know. Look, I saw April in the chat. I don't know how many people. Did anybody predict the Mariners going to the playoffs? Flobo, do you remember?
No, that's not. No one predicted it. But because the Astros are pretty much like going to be a foregone
Yeah.
conclusion, and they started off really slow, and we're like,
Mhm.
oh, baby, it won't happen. And it
Yeah.
did happen, and then it didn't happen. You saw yesterday's game
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
Detroit came and slayed them. So I don't know, bro. It's all topsy-turvy.
All right,
True,
so let's
true.
get into it because as we speak, there's one playoff series, wild card playoff series in the balance. Flobo's Mets versus the Brewers. We know we're in the 5th inning on that live. But let's recap who's moving on and what happened. Because I'm going to start with you, Troy. I'm going to start with the Tigers. I know you've been following the team. They went into Houston. They took care of business. Nobody picked it but your boy over here. After they took game 1, I was very confident that they were going to win
Yeah.
the series. But when you look at this Tigers team, when you look at this series, Troy, are you surprised?
Am I surprised at how they've been playing in the playoffs? No,
You
because
have to be
they
surprised, right?
well, with how they're playing in the playoffs, no, because I went and I watched them play the Dodgers and then put up 5 runs in the bottom of the ninth against Otani and Freeman, and that's just something that no one expects. And Detroit being an underdog city in itself, and then these guys taking a 0.2% chance and turning it into beating the Astros in the first round is it would be kind of crazy for me to be like, no, they can't do that because they've done a bunch of stuff people said they weren't going to do already.
Well, let me ask a question though. I'm not a hater. I love the Tigers. They're great. But you can't talk about the Tigers without the collapse of Minnesota, right? Did you saw that coming? The fact that the
I
Twins were
didn't
so
see
far
that
ahead,
coming.
and then
I didn't see that coming, but at the same time, last year was a similar situation. Now the AL Central was a lot worse last year.
Mhm.
It's got better except for the White Sox. But
yeah,
Detroit was battling with last place for the good majority of that season, but they finished 8 games behind the Twins when it was
Mhm.
all said and done. So, but I didn't think the Twins were going to fall off like that. But I knew it was gonna be tight at the stretch the way they were going at the end.
See, to me, the Tigers came out of nowhere. Like they just kind of kept, second half of the season, they kept winning, and I did not see them coming at all. And again, a lot of playoff baseball is about getting hot at the right time. The
Oh yeah.
Tigers are definitely hot at the
Big.
right time, but even going into Houston before the series started, you're like, man, Houston's Houston. They always find a
Yeah.
way.
They
Detroit
always find a
had
way.
the momentum coming in. Don, you watch this stuff closely as well. Are you surprised by the Tigers?
My grandpa makes sure I'm not surprised by the Tigers. So, no, I can't be. My grandpa loves the Tigers. So, yeah, no, I wasn't because I was made aware. But they stick around. Every year I don't think they get dogged. They battle. They always have some ball players. So I'm not super surprised that they're there. Houston is Houston, like you said, though. So we expected them to do, whatever they always do. I'm not a huge Houston fan, but
Right.
yeah, we expected them to do something that they didn't. And yeah, Detroit's right there.
Let me ask this, Flobo. This is a good question for you because we always look at like teams, how they're built, how they're constructed, and identity. right? And so one of the things I'm surprised about when I look at Detroit, what they're doing and how they're going, like I said, they're hot at the right time. Obviously, they've got Scooble, who's gonna, he's a big time triple crown pitcher. He's gonna win the Cy Young this year. But besides him,
Yeah,
we're looking at players like, especially in the last two games, Andy Ibanez. We're looking at Parker Meadows with the big hit. Obviously, we all root and cheer for Justin Henry Malloy. He played game one. I didn't think he played game two. Colt Keith. The question I have for you, Flobo, is when you look at this Tigers team, do they even have an identity? Are like outside of are there identifiable players and an identity of this team? Because I just don't know it.
what's going to end up happening for the Tigers that their identity is going to be the fact they don't have an identity, right? So you go back to the deadline, and I say this as a Mets fan because we were on that line for a long time, whether or not we're going to be buyers or sellers, but we had all the memes, right? Grimace was in there, OMG was in there. Detroit didn't have that. They shipped off Flaherty. It looked like it was going to be, well, we tried this year. We're going to regroup at 25, and then the guys that were left got hot. Now, if Detroit has a Cinderella run, they go to the ALCS, they go to the World Series. That right there is your movie of the week. That right there is your 30 for 30. Because the front office gave up on gave up on a whole team and seems that, no, we're not done yet. That's amazing.
Yeah, that kind of seems how it goes sometimes, when the going gets tough and you don't have an identity and the guys in the clubhouse, I think it matters, they might not have an identity to us, but I bet you that clubhouse is tight. I bet you they know each other, they're locked in, and that makes you go harder. Oh, everybody's not watching us. They don't expect us. Well, here we are,
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Talk to me about Detroit. Look, talk to me about Detroit teams being good and what that means. Because again, you were talking about the 30 for 30. We were talking about, remember last season, we were talking about if the Lions and the Ravens made it to the Super Bowl, they were both like one game away from being in the Super Bowl. And they were talking about if the Lions and the Ravens made it to the Super Bowl, it was going to be the blackest Super Bowl in the history of black
Yes,
sir. Remember that?
That's awesome.
When the Lions are good, I'm under the impression that Detroit is a different place. When the Tigers are good, what do we see in the Detroit community? I'll preference this by saying, I want to say, I think I tell this story all the time. So it wasn't, last season, 2 seasons, so 3 seasons ago, I'm going to Camden Yards, and the Orioles are bad. They're not a good team. They're not the team that we see for the last 2 seasons. 3 seasons ago, they're still working their way. They're a bad team. When I go to Camden Yards, when their team is bad, I see less families. I see definitely less black families. I see less black people in the stands. I went to Camden Yards this year. I saw it might as well have been one of the it felt a very comfortable, lot of black families, a lot of black kids. And I'm like, the prices were higher. I'm looking at the situation. I'm like, yo, what's different? And they were like, this is Baltimore. When Baltimore is a good baseball team, the black community comes out, black families come out. Not we still need to do more. But I'm wondering, is Detroit that type of metropolitan as well? When the team is doing well, do you see more black families at the games?
Oh, definitely. When the Tigers are hot, and when I was referencing when I said that rappers are making songs about Tigers, this rapper named G Mac Cash, and he made a song called "The Tigers." You hear the Tigers won again, and every time they win since he made that song, it's been on every post, everybody's Instagram story and feed, and it just been feeding into the culture. And it's like Detroit has a unique kind of slang. It's kind of a little bit of everybody's slang with our own twist on it, because a lot of people from Detroit, their grandparents migrated from other parts of America. So when you're talking to somebody else that's black and you bring up the Tigers in conversation, saying, the Tigers won again, is usually how it is come across. So with that word of mouth, and then them getting hot, and the weather's actually been pretty decent up here for the most part. People have been pouring into the stadium. Like, I think I've been to like 8 Tiger games this year. Like, I went to their last game against the White Sox, and it was like 3 o'clock Sunday game. It's dark, and it was almost sold out. Like, I was sitting in like the nosebleeds for like the first time probably in like 10 years. since the Tigers are hot again that I've had to pay for seats up there because they're the only ones left. So people are definitely coming out to see the Tigers. When Detroit has something to get behind, they show up.
Well, mark your calendars for Tuesday, October 8th. So what's going to happen is the first two games are going to be in Cleveland. And then Tuesday, October 8th, Detroit gets to host a home playoff game. And that's going to be, I think that's going to be exciting. Hey, look, Cleveland is one of the best teams in baseball. Has been one of the best teams all season in the AL. Let's go around. Let's do a quick round robin. What are our chance? What do you think the Tigers' chances are as they go into Cleveland? Because Cleveland's going to be right. It's not going to be. Remember Flobo last year? How excited they were because Cleveland hadn't hosted a playoff game since
year before,
since Kirby Puckett, and everybody was like Minnesota's going crazy, and they were a very exciting playoff town. I don't know if you capture that magic again. But you've got two exciting fan bases for playoff baseball. Minnesota's a really, really good team. Flobo, what say you? Well, how do you look? What do you look for when you look ahead to Guardians versus Tigers?
It's one of those situations where I don't believe in the credence of like the playoff format is unfair to winners because they have a week off. I don't believe in that.
But I do. That.
I do think the Guardians are going to be the ones to fall for that. I don't think they need that kind of momentum of playing all the time. It may be a groundswell for the Tigers, so I do have them at projected winning this win in this particular series. I do think that's a squad. The Guardians, they're a squad, but they need the momentum. I don't think the Dodgers do. I don't think the Yankees do. I do think the Guardians need the extra time. That layoff will probably hurt them.
All right, so you're going. Do you have any quick instant predictions?
Detroit. I'm going for Detroit there.
So you're riding the momentum. Don Dishes, what say you?
I say Detroit too, man. I'm riding the momentum. Yeah, Detroit.
I know where you're going with it.
The momentum's everything. Like when I was watching, when we were here a year ago, we were watching Texas, the Rangers roll through. They had the momentum. Like every time somebody punched them in the face, they got up and they swung back. In every close game that they had. So you got to ride the wave, baby. You got to ride the wave. Detroit all the way.
Well, gentlemen.
Oh, here we go.
He is against the current.
Because he always goes last. That's what happens. He goes last, and he's like, nah.
I understand what you're saying, gentlemen. I really do. But that Cleveland team, if you haven't seen them play, Steve Kwan, those guys, Ramirez, those boys get down.
Quan is legit.
It'll be a battle. It'll be a battle.
Buxton, those boys get down. So, look, I'm gonna lean Guardians heavy. But what do I know? Because I'm
not the middle. I'm a lean heavy, not definitely. I'm a lean, but heavy. What?
But what do I know? Because I'm an Orioles fan, and for the second year in a row, I am depressed. I'm pumping. I'm putting up memes.
Hey, man,
I'm disappointed. I don't even know why I do this to myself. Because now I got to wait all off season, wait to get to spring training. We're at the point now with the Orioles, gentlemen, where the regular season means nothing. I hate to be there because we were so bad for so long, right? So I should be grateful that the team is actually won 100 games last year.
You really should.
The number 2. I should be thankful. And I'm going to tell you where I am. Because I'm not thankful.
You sound bitter. Yeah, you sound upset.
Yeah, bad.
I'm bitter. I'm sad. And I've got to go through 162 games just to get to the same point we were.
Hey, you're preaching to the choir, my boy.
Right. But guess what? It don't matter. Now we've been here twice. Getting here now doesn't matter to me. And that's a horrible place to be as a fan because we got to go through the whole season.
Gotta love the process.
Get to the thing, and then we got to perform.
Yeah.
So I'm depressed. I'm upset. Shout out to the Royals again. And it's one thing if we get stomped out. We lost a 1-0 game. What was it, 2-1 last night?
2-1.
1-0. We scored 1 run in 18 innings. They had Seth Lugo looking like Greg Maddux.
I mean, comeback player of the year. Let's be real.
I'm done. Flobo, tell me what you think about the Orioles.
About the Orioles not winning a playoff game in 10 years? I don't know what to say, brother. I thought this year was supposed to be it, to be honest with you, even though I picked the Royals to win the pennant, and I'm somehow still right after all this time. I had no idea. I thought it was been 3 games, but I what's a sweep's a sweep, bro. I can't.
I mean, shout out to the Royals. Don, what do you got? What do you got on the Royals O's?
I mean, I just feel bad for you.
Yeah,
I just feel bad for you. But at the same time, I feel your pain. Not quite the same pain because we Mariners, we don't get there. We talk about it and 54% our way to nothing.
Right? Battle for it last year.
Yeah, but yeah, man. No, I thought the O's would have did it. I won't even lie to you. I thought they were going to get it done. No. They looked great, but yeah.
Second half of the season, they were limping in, and they just couldn't hit. Troy, you're a player. You've been on a bunch of teams. What is it about the whole team went cold at the same time. How does that happen?
It can be a lot of things. Sometimes the season just wears on you, and usually teams get hot at certain parts of the season. Some people get hot early, some people get hot in the middle, some people get hot at the end. And when you try to force it, for some reason the energy of the baseball universe, it just makes it harder. And sometimes you just gotta accept, like, this is how it is. Like, when you're not getting those breaks, like 2 months ago, you getting those extra base hits, but this month their line out is getting caught. It's just a part of the game. But a lot of it has to do with the mentality of the team and really just the energy and the vibes, because baseball is so fickle. It can go either way it wants to, but that energy, that momentum we were talking about, that phenomenon makes the difference. And honestly, I'm surprised too. I thought the O's were gonna take it over Kansas, because they were getting cold at the end of the season too. Like, they had dropped like their last, I think, 10 games before the playoffs started. So yeah, I thought the O's were gonna have the upper hand for sure.
Yeah, and I do look. I don't want to. I know how I feel about my O's, but I do want to give props to the Royals. Like, their pitching staff did their thing, and then again, it seemed like every time something big in the game was going to happen, there comes Bobby Witt Jr. strutting up to the plate.
Yeah, that boy.
I was like, how?
Yeah. That boy is a problem.
Yo,
how is boy is different.
I was like, how is it every time? Like, it's like they bet Bobby Witt Jr. 1 through 9. Like, it's not Bobby Witt, it's Perez coming up. I'm like, bro, what is going on? And so that dude is they did a couple things in the game even last night where it was like they were just running hard. They were beating out ground ball singles, you know what I mean? And it was a close game. It was one of those games where you had to do the little things. And it just seemed like the Royals were hell bent on doing the little things. And like, it wasn't that the Orioles weren't there. It just looked to me like the Orioles just looked tired. Like, you ever seen a team that just the whole team looks tired? Yeah. Even when Sid hit the home run, shout out Sid. Like, we were way more relieved than we were excited. It wasn't like, oh, let's like, he got that home run, we got the 1 run, let's lift the lid off. They were like, thank God we scored a run.
Yeah.
That's what it was, man. It was like, that's how I felt watching the game. Like, we're gonna get shut out 2 games in a row, and then Sid hit it, and I'm just like, we gotta make some plays. And
let me ask a question, Chiefs. I mean, this season they didn't win any playoff games. The last season didn't win any playoff games. Last time they were in playoffs didn't win any playoff games either. Like, what has to change? Is it a coaching thing? Is it a staff thing? Is it a culture thing? Like, you can't keep running the same team out every year.
Yeah, you can. I think.
I'll show you, Lobo.
Nah.
162-0.
I'm with you. And it's and I don't know if there's a team that has gone like, I don't know if there's a team and a fan base that has gone from we are so happy to be here to we expect to win so fast. But that's where we are with the Orioles. Last year, we wanted to win. We thought we were a really good team, but we were so happy to be in the postseason. We were so happy to have a team that won 100 games because we were so bad for so long, right? Like we were bad. So I think that before that, the playoff game was like Adam Jones was playing center field. It was a while. And so, but when you have that much success, you're winning the AL East, you're winning over 100 games, you come back with a squad that has your Gunner in it, you have your Adelaide in it, you have your Cedric in it, you're bringing up Jackson Holiday, you got Cowser now in the lineup. You know what I'm saying? You had Westbrook. Like, we have so much, we're oozing potential, right? And then you make the deal. Don't get me wrong. And he pitched his lights out. But you make the deal for Corbin Burns. And I'm telling you now, we're like, yo, give us the pennant. We got Burns. Then before the trade deadline, we get Zach Eflin. I'm like, yo, we are doing our thing. And again, we didn't have Kimball sucked. Like, call it what it is. Craig Kimball sucked. He wound up getting designated. Cano, I thought he was going to be the closer. I thought he would be the guy. And he wound up not being the guy in that sense. He still pitched in the postseason. But we wound up going last night with the two trade deadline guys, Soto and then Dominguez, that we got from the Phillies. They were like squeezed out of the Phillies bullpen. So I go back to your question. I do think that those guys, Gunnar Henderson, Adlai Rutschman, Jordan Westberg, even to if you put in Jackson Holiday, Colton Cowser, they're so young, my boy. They're so young that they definitely can run it back and be good. I just don't want them to end up like the Braves in the 90s, right? Where it seemed like the Braves were always there, but like, I don't know how many World Series they went to, but they didn't win it. They won it once, right?
Yeah.
But like, they didn't win it as much time
As they
with
went
the
up.
potential that they had. And I don't know
Yeah.
if it's a mental thing, because now, again, 162 games for the Orioles next year, guess what? It means nothing. If they don't win a wild card series or a divisional series, if they get a bye, it means nothing.
I can't. Well, I don't know, man. Maybe
Do you
on a
make
base.
changes? Do you think
I
they
mean,
make changes?
No. I'm not sure. So on a baseball level, you're right, because you said you got to the dance, but you didn't get asked to dance with anybody. You got to do something different. But at the same time, you mentioned 10 minutes ago that people are coming out to games, is becoming more a part of the community. So that's a positive. But there's no moral victories in baseball, so I'm torn either way. So I don't know how to take this one, because I'm a Mets fan. Usually we kind of wait till we collapse, but we're still going. It's like I'm playing with house money right now.
And what's his name is I think he's just like a straight up free agent, Burns. Like, we got him for 1 year, and now we'd have to re-sign him. Grayson Rodriguez got hurt. Like, again, where you make the changes on this team, you're gonna make them in the pitching rotation, and you're gonna make them in the bullpen. Batista missed the entire season. He's gonna be Felix Batista will be back. We hope. You know what I mean? So, like that, I just think that that's what the Orioles have to do. And again, shout out to the Royals, because I think the Orioles also ran into the Rangers last year, and you know what happened there. The Rangers wound up winning the World Series, and the Royals are, man, if they can pitch and do and hit, and Bobby Witt can come up every time. I think it's gonna be funny. I think it's gonna be funny to see what happens. 7 games, right? And the Yankees in the Bronx. Like, the Yankees are still the Yankees with that lineup. And do you think Orioles fans are going to go crazy? You think Orioles fans have unrealistic expectations? Wait till you see what happens Saturday in the Bronx.
Yeah, we know how them New York boys go, man.
Right. Wait till you see.
Hey. Don't be grouping me with them.
All right, so let's fast forward and we'll go through. Troy, Hot Royals, just really Aaron Judge and the boys waiting in the Bronx. Aaron Judge, Stanton, Jazz Chisholm, Bleacher Creatures, Garrett Cole. They're all waiting there. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen when the Royals go in the Bronx?
It's gonna be crazy over there. I don't know how they're gonna respond to that energy over there. Like, they're waiting, they've been rested. The Bronx have been waiting for this.
Waiting.
That's a tough hand to be dealt right there.
Do you like their chances at all, or do you think the Yankees got them?
I think the Yankees gonna take care of business.
Don, what do you think?
Man, it's gonna be crazy. We mentioned that momentum thing. I think that hometown, that Bronx energy is nuts. Like
Yeah.
I just remember going earlier in the season when the M's played New York, and we got lucky and took some games from them. But the energy in the crowd, bro, you were like, where are my people? Because I need them. So it's gonna be a nail biter. But yeah, I think those Bronx boys take care of business, man. They're looking right.
Flobo, Garrett Cole, game 1 on Saturday in the Bronx. He's taking on Michael Wacha. What do you think?
I mean, you're talking about a guy who roots for a team that beat Garrett Cole twice in the same season. I'm gonna say this: on paper, it should be the Bronx, up and down, by any
Right.
metric.
Right.
But for some reason, the That's So Raven, the zoom in, just I just got Aaron Judge going like, how do we lose this? That's what I'm thinking. So I'm gonna go with Kansas City still because I got it in my gut. Go with Kansas City.
Okay.
I think here's the thing: if again the Bronx also turns on you real quick. It's a quick turn. Now,
yeah.
Garrett Cole is Garrett Cole. Like we're gonna see what he does, but after you get through Cole, who's hurt? Like Nestor's hurt, Cortez is hurt. So they're talking about who's gonna fill, especially the back half of that rotation in the playoffs. I guess you go. I mean, I don't know if it's Luis Hill. I don't know if it's Marcus Stroman. I don't know if
sure.
Rodon. I guess it's Rodon's going to be in there. So I'm interested. And again, you can't use what's his name. Didn't they remove Clay Holmes as the closer? So if the pitching's vulnerable, that's where I want to see. They're not going to have I don't think the Yankees are going to have the problem where the Orioles have, which is they just could not hit the ball. The Orioles team is built differently. Even though we hit a ton of home runs this year, it's built differently than the home runs they hit in the Bronx. Like Stanton, it's just power, Jazz,
nuts.
Stanton, Judge.
And that park is built to hit it.
So I got to go with the Yankees.
100%.
I got to go. I think the magic runs out. I think Flobo's prediction ultimately ends.
I just imagine Judge being like, they paid me so much money. What happened? I just see it.
They paid him a ton of money. They're telling me in the comments, do not look in the comments. They're saying, do not sleep on Kansas City.
Oh yeah, for sure. We won't.
I don't think I'm sleeping on Kansas City.
I don't think I'm sleeping.
No sleep.
You
No
have
sleep.
a lot of firepower.
I'm not saying the Yankees gonna sweep.
You think I'm napping on them?
I think you are.
Oh.
Because I told you this last year when they had all those offseason acquisitions, I go, this is the kind of like B and C player additions that championship team runs do, like what Arizona did last season and what Philadelphia did 2 seasons before. Like this is like the script that people are doing. Hunter Renfroe, all right, Seth Lugo.
Shout out our guy Tommy Pham.
Yeah, Tommy Pham, the Puerto Rican.
Tommy Pham's been in the playoffs like
Puerto Rican.
Yeah, that's what he calls himself. So I'm like,
that's fire.
Tommy Pham just finds the playoffs.
No, it's crazy, but hey, props to Kansas City. Hope they go all the way.
And they always do this to me. I have a moment. They did it last. Remember they did it last year. I think it was Arizona and Milwaukee, and Devin Williams was pitching against Pham, and I was just like, I don't know who to root for here. And as much as I'm a diehard Oil fans in a close game, then they pinch hit Tommy Pham last night, right? And I was just like, ugh. What are they doing to me? I want to make sure my guys are taken care of. So shout out Tommy Pham. So now, look, we've got predictions on the Tigers. We got predictions on the Royals versus the Yankees here. This one was late, obviously, but the Braves, tired Braves, weary Braves, went into San Diego, and San Diego just took them out in 2 games. So, where's April? Shout out to April, because April has already been saying, she's been saying San Diego has been the scary team since day one. Right. But San Diego now has to make the very it's still LA's long, so it's not a short trip. It's the same state. But the Padres rekindle the rivalry with LA, the Dodgers. I'm looking forward to this because even if the two teams get along, even if they get along, in my mind, they hate each other. Like, that's what I'm excited about. Like, in my mind, there is a real rivalry between the Padres and the Dodgers, and I want to see it. Flobo, well, first of all, do we do any time on the Braves? Like,
No.
do we do a postmortem on the Braves? Did we expect them to do anything against the Padres?
You know what? I would say the fact they got into the conversation of a three-way tie with Arizona is a testament to them. Yeah, it took them getting some veterans on the trade block, sure, but like they had so many injuries that people wrote them off, even in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So the fact they made it was cool, but that matchup wasn't going to happen. San Diego's too good. But we're talking about vibes and momentum. I would say this yesterday or Tuesday on our last show. The two teams with the most pressure on themselves are San Diego with all their money and LA with all their talent because they've not have gone to the promised land. I think because of that is going to reason we're going to see this giant slugfest because everyone's talked about the Dodgers collapse in the postseason. Everyone's talked about Padres not being a real franchise, and it's right here in the divisional round.
I throw the Yankees in there too with the pressure. The Bronx ain't playing around.
Yeah. 09, yeah.
Here's the thing.
Oh, yeah.
I think the Bronx has like universal New York Yankee pressure, right? Like, I think that's like they have built-in pressure of like, hey, look, we're the Bronx, we're supposed to win. They do all their things. I do think that the San Diego pressure, I think honestly, I don't know. No team has ever led off with 3 MVPs in a row. So I kind of feel like the Dodger pressure is high.
That's
like
I think it's a new
Dodgers
kind of pressure.
I think this is going to be a very, very fun series because if a lot of people that are watching this stream, if they haven't really dug into seeing how fun the Padres are a fun team to watch, man. They're a fun team to watch play. Jackson Merrill is fun. Yo, Manny Machado. They said it yesterday on the broadcast. You're watching a living Hall of Famer in Manny Machado do his thing at third base, and he's just good. Like the Padres, I think they're a scrappy team. I don't think they're expected to win, but I like watching them play. What do you guys say about Padres Dodgers? What's your thoughts, Don?
Yeah, it's gonna be good. I mean, got to see the Padres, play the Mariners at home. They play well, I got love for the Padres. I'll put that out there too.
I love their city.
I didn't before, but I gained some love and some respect after seeing it.
That's a good point, though, Don. That's a good point, though. Why do you like the Padre team this year?
I think I want to see them be victorious, though. I'll put that out there. I want to see the Padres pull it off. I'm a Mookie Betts fan, but I'm not a Dodgers fan. So.
No, but you brought up a good point, Don. What, like you said, you gained some respect for the Padres. Can you hear me?
I think you're lagging a bit.
I lost audio, brothers.
Okay. I see. Yeah, I'm interested to see what turns a fan from, you know what I mean? What turns a fan so they enjoy it. They've gone, like, for the Yankees, I have grown to appreciate the Yankees more than I did when I was an original Orioles fan because I'm looking at Judge and, in some ways I'm not hate watching them, but I'm sort of hate watching them. And then when you do that so much, right, you do that so much, you're watching Judge, and I especially start watching him after Jazz came over. I watched the first 2 weeks of Jazz games, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gaining some respect for this squad, right? What, Don? Are you back? Are you back audio wise?
Yeah, sorry, things cut out. I don't even know why.
You just quickly tell me what. Like you said, you gained some respect for the Padres team. What is it about this Padres team that kind of made you from ambivalent to I kind of like this team?
Yeah, they were just not on my radar at all. At all, like 0%. And then seeing them play, seeing them win some tight games, seeing them come against us, and they kind of beat up on us, but that's okay. I don't know. I never thought of them as like a strong ball club, and then here they are, just pulling out the cuts. Yep. That's where they got my respect.
Good question in the chat, gentlemen. Would you rather have Manny Machado or Jose Ramirez at third base? You really can't go wrong with either one of them. Yeah. I'm going to personally say I like Manny Machado better. I don't know if he's a better player right at the moment than Jose Ramirez. I think he's probably better defensively, but I just like everything about Manny Machado seems to me like like swag personified.
I don't
He makes it
yeah.
look good. He makes it look
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I
smart.
don't have a good baseball answer, but for a swag answer, I'm going with Manny Machado.
Swag answer.
For the
You guys-
aesthetic, you gotta go
Troy,
Manny.
Flobo, Don, who would you rather have, Manny Ramirez or Jose? Manny
I,
Machado or Jose Ramirez?
for the exact same reason, Manny's just smooth, bro. He just
So
is. Like every time he make a play, like when he makes a tough play, he has had his look on his face like he do it all the time, and he kind of does. So, yeah, I'm wrong with Manny. What about you, Don?
Manny, I'm going Manny too. That was well said, Manny.
I don't like him, but I'll pick Manny too.
Great question in the chat, Mike. Great question on the Manny Machado, Jose Ramirez.
He sells tickets. That's what he does.
If you have any more questions as we're going through the wild card and going through the divisional series, put them in the chat, man. I'd love to answer. We'd love to answer some more questions. That was a great question on who would you rather have. I want to think of another one while we go through this, but I want to think of a good one. Talk to me about the Dodgers, because again, no team in the history of baseball has led off with 3 MVPs. The Dodgers have got Shohei batting first, Mookie batting second, Freddie Freeman batting third. They high expectations. Yamamoto gets hurt. Is not, you know what I mean? Clayton Kershaw's out now and he's back. There's so much up and down about the Dodgers, but from day one to the beginning of the season, which remember started with the Shohei gambling scandal type situation.
Right.
They've just won games. They've stacked up wins and they stacked up the best record in baseball. Troy? What do you make of the Dodgers?
I feel like is theirs to lose, and personally, I hate having that kind of pressure. And but it's exciting to see they have that type of depth. It's like watching an all-star game. Like you got 3 of some of the best players in baseball batting next to each other. You know, that's tough, but it's going to be fun to watch. But I think they have what it takes to go the distance this time. But they still got to go out there and do it. You know, it's not guaranteed just because you have them on paper. Like all 3 of them have to show up. I've seen them do great things together. But I've also seen them hit into a double play with the bases loaded and 1 out in Detroit with the game on the line. So they're not Superman, but I don't want to see them 3 back to back to back personally if I'm on the mound. So that's definitely gonna have an effect on people. So you know, it's gonna be interesting to see who stands tall and is going to be on the other side of it after the series.
Who do you got? You got a pick, Tor?
I'm on Dodgers.
You got Dodgers. Flobo, what say you?
I've learned to hate the Padres, so I'm going to Dodgers too. It's the opposite. I was fine with them when I first moved to California, but now I'm just like, these guys.
No,
Why
okay.
do you hate them more?
What turns I asked what turns a person into a fan? What turns a person into someone that doesn't want them to succeed?
You ever try talking to ChatGPT and ask it a question from last week and it says, sorry, I don't know. I only go as far back as 2021. Right. I have not found someone out here in Southern California that can go back before 2019. It was like Tony Gwynn, a gap, and then Tatis. Like, it was a whole 15-year period. Oh, well, you know, Qualcomm and Chargers. Like, that whole city forgot and gave up on the Padres. And now all you see is brand new jerseys out there. Come on, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You go to Detroit, you go to Seattle, you go to Queens, people there with them old jerseys be like, they trash, but they my trash. Never in San Diego do you see that. Never.
The funny part is I find more Padre fans now. Kids are Padre fans. There's just a ton of Padre fans, and that I see all around. So that is interesting. So we've got Troy Dodgers, Flobo Dodgers out of hate.
Yep.
So Jackson and the boys didn't turn it over for you. Don, who do you like in this series?
Man, I'm gonna go with the Padres, man. I'm gonna go with the Padres. I know the Dodgers they're nice. They're dumb nice, and they are. But I think they hold that pressure just like the Yankees do, of having that depth, of having that we gotta win this. Look at our team. It could be another thing like Flobo said, where Otani's like, I got all this money and we lost. So yeah, I'll go with the Padres.
All
I
right.
I feel
All
like the
right.
Padres had that pressure too. Like they've had Tatis and they've had Manny for a minute, and like one of them would get hurt or somebody get in trouble, or there's always something that would stop them from achieving what they thought they could do. So now everybody's healthy, they're there. Now they got to show up.
That's true. I think they have less pressure on the media side though, because like
Oh yeah,
Flobo said, they don't even exist since Gwynn, what I'm saying? So
yeah.
they're coming out a little fresher on that end.
Yeah.
I mean,
So maybe a little less.
hey, look, the Padres won 93 games this year, and I would still consider them under the radar. Like, seriously. They won a ton of games. They play out on the West Coast, and they play in California, and Shohei hit, 80 home runs with 162,000 stolen bases, and his press is everywhere, and he deserves everything he gets. Shohei deserves everything he gets, but no one is out here talking outside of the Rookie of the Year conversation when they thought, oh, is it going to be Paul Skeens? And I think Jackson probably did his thing enough to take that award. But they're definitely little brother. They're definitely little brother, and I do think that Big Brother has to, they have to bully him. The good part is the other thing about the Dodgers, which is interesting, is they've got those guys that are so good. And then they backfill it with guys like Hernandez. You know what I mean? They got some good players in the bottom half of that lineup as well. Will Smith, I think, had a down year and still really good. But the personalities of Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, and Freddie Freeman will not allow them to almost. I don't think they're not going to reap the benefits of how good they are because those guys are so busy working hard. Like those guys are grinders. If you had to pick the personality traits of 3 stars that you want to have on your team, I think you want to pick the personality traits of Shohei, Mookie, and Freddie because they're going to show up to the ballpark and they're going to do their job. And I just really believe that if they're locked in, and then you got Kershaw if he's locked in, and you got like these other guys. I mean, it's just going to be a fun series. I do think for whatever reason there's some more of a rivalry there, and probably on San Diego's end because they don't want to be the little brother as much. But
Right.
I just think the Dodgers are going to be too strong and too much. So we've got those predictions. Flobo, do we have a score check? Let's look at a score check before we talk about the last one.
Glancing back and forth.
Yeah, middle of 7, still no score. Pitchers duel over there in Milwaukee.
Duel. Yeah, and so we've got. Hold on. There's a question. Dodgers going to do what they do always. The wannabe West Coast Yankees. All right, a little strong there.
I mean, they kind of are. I mean,
okay, came in hot.
All right.
Gentlemen, whoever wins this game tonight, Mets, Brewers, they're going to Citizens Bank Park. They've got the Phillies, a really, really good Phillies team, waiting for them. Last 2 years, you've seen it. Phillies in the playoffs, Philadelphia in the playoffs is a different beast. I think what we think of live crowd, we were talking about crowds in Minnesota, crowds in Detroit, talk about crowds in the Bronx. Philly brings all that energy. No doubt. Philly brings all that energy to Citizen Bank Park. They've got Bryce, they've got Trey Turner, they've got Zach Wheeler. They're all sitting there waiting. What do we think of whoever comes out of this? Whoever comes out of it is going to have some momentum, and they're going to be riding high from winning what's clearly a very close game. This is going to be a close game, or even if they break it open, they're not breaking it open late. So there's some very, especially if it's the Mets, there's some very intense. They've been playing playoff baseball for a week now, right? There's some intensity here. But what do we make of the Phillies as they sit waiting in the wings?
It's a hard take because I would say last year's Philadelphia team was a lot stronger. They had a bit of rough patches themselves this season with Philadelphia. And if the Mets were to face the Phillies, because I'm a Mets fan, it sounds like it's biased, but like we're a team that seems to be weaker on paper. We always have their number. So it's an odd thing to say, whereas Philadelphia is that good. They're that deep. But then it's always like, where's it going to fall off? Which is the opposite from like someone like say the Yankees, where it's like, oh no, you guys are preordained. The Dodgers the same way. Yeah, you guys are good, but where are you going to mess it up, right? So that said, I would say if the Brewers advance tonight, hopefully it doesn't be the case. If the Brewers advance tonight, I do see the Brewers falling to Philadelphia. I do think they have a chance to go forward, at least to the NLCS. So I think it's going to be a strong case for them, for sure.
Don, what do you think of? What do you make of the Phillies?
Yeah, man, no, that's a tough ball club for sure. And I'll say East Coast just goes hard. If you're on the East Coast, your fans and your stadium usually goes extra hard, right? So that's gonna be a game, going over there. If it's the Mets that pull through this, like you said, they've been having to stress themselves for like a week. And I think it's 1 day rest. So
Yeah.
they'll probably fall. They'll probably fall because the Phillies are resting and waiting. I don't know much about the Brewers. I won't lie to you, so I won't speak on them. But yeah, I think that Phillies team takes the Mets if they go over there.
Troy, what say you?
I agree with Don. If the Mets get through, it's going to be an uphill battle. Philly sitting there resting. Bryce Harper's getting 8 hours of sleep. That's gonna be a tough duel.
Get a massages.
Same thing. I feel like the same thing with the Brewers. They're a solid club, but I don't think they have the depth to get past the Phillies, especially since they've been sitting there waiting and resting.
You know what? I'm to me, the Phillies seem like they're the old man team. I don't know why. They seem like I do subscribe. I hate the fact that the winners have to sit and wait. I hate that.
Come on.
Slobo and I disagree on this. I hate
Yeah,
it.
vividly.
I think it breaks momentum. I think it's problematic. I don't like it. Philly is the one team. When you look at Bryce Harper, you look at Trey Turner, you look at Cal Schwarber, you look at Nick Cassian, like you look at Alex Bond, those guys, and I feel like they're the type of guys that's just like, we need this time off. I don't know why.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why I'm saying that either, because they won like 95 games this season. They're a very good baseball team. But I also feel like Zach Wheeler and Noel, like those guys are just like, you know what? We'll take the week off. We'll come back and play next week, and they'll be up for it. The crowd will be up for it. And if there's a team that has playoff experience, because the Phillies have been in the playoffs last couple of years, that I think will be affected less by the time off. I think it's Philadelphia. So whoever does come out of this, I know they're going to be running into a buzzsaw, but that buzzsaw has to go to Citizen Bank Park and face Zach Wheeler game 1. And
Brewers up by 2, bottom 7th.
Brewers
Wow.
got 2? What happened?
Yeah.
What was
2
the
home
play?
run,
Broke
2
through.
solo homers. Back
to back?
Wow.
I can't tell. I'm on the show,
Goodness.
Keith.
my internet won't even.
I had it up, and then I took it down. Let me finish up the so some Let's Go Phillies. Mookie and Freddie didn't show up last year in the playoff. Hey man, that was last year. Yeah, people want to see Harper breakthrough. We were talking
I
earlier
think they were back to back, Cheats.
Yeah, they were back to back.
Jake Brower, Mount Visit, Sal Felix. Yeah, they were back to back.
Oh, that might be it. That might do it.
I mean, it's late in the game.
We got to hold on to the end, man.
Yeah, shout out to Ricky Weeks. Ricky Weeks is an assistant coach there of the Brewers. Southern University HBCU, the only player ever to win the Golden Spike Award from an HBCU. Ricky Weeks is on the Brewers bench, and Quentin Berry. Quentin Berry's on the Brewers bench as an assistant coach. They're both coaches in the Brewers organization. Shout out my man Izzy Lugo too. He's over there doing marketing. Great guy. So look, if the Brewers do win, and the fact that in the Black Player Power Index, I got to make a better name for this. Black Player Power Index. They got Devin Williams, they got Blake Perkins, and they've got Joe Ross over there with the Brewers. So there you go. And they might be moving on. And again, the Phillies have been cheat coding the whole index because they have Taijuan Walker, and I don't even know if he pitches.
Oh, he pitches. He's a liability for the team. I'm not sure he's in the roster though.
I don't even know.
We had Taijuan for a little bit.
Last year, he didn't pitch in the whole playoffs last year. Taijuan Walker, he was just sitting there.
Yeah, I'm sad we let him go, man. Taijuan's dope.
Yo, shout out to Taijuan Walker, man. He's holding it down for the Phillies.
Shout out to boy.
At this point. Shout out to the boy. All right, gentlemen. I was also saying that we were talking about identity, and I do think Philly has an identity. That's the thing.
Oh, yeah.
I think Philly knows exactly who they are, and they kind of been doing it, and I'm excited to see what some of these other teams, as they kind of go through this playoff series, if they start to build an identity even more. Last thing we'll talk about, gentlemen, we're about to get out of here. We're coming up on the hour. But there was an article that came out, and I love this article because I love this conversation. MLB released the news of their 2024 top jersey sales for the season. Has anybody seen this?
No.
All right. I'm going to give you they released the top 20. I'm going to go through some of them because, again, number one, I will tell you this. Number one, just it's as expected. Take it off the board. There's a global market for Shohei Ohtani. It's not even close.
Yeah,
like again, you could take out jersey sales in the United States, and Shohei Ohtani's still going to win as the top jersey seller. This is what I'm going to tell you. Number 3, Aaron Judge. Number 4, Mookie Betts. Number 5, Francisco Lindor. So I'm going to repeat that. Shohei, Judge at 3, Betts at 4, Lindor at 5. Can you guess number 2? If you haven't seen the list, can you guess number 2?
It's got to be somebody.
Tatis.
Because somebody's older.
It's not Tatis.
There's somebody that's older. Somebody that's kind of a great white hope. I'm gonna say Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good guess.
Bryce, that sounds right.
It is right.
That's a great guess.
Bryce Harper.
Okay.
So in 2024, Bryce Harper has the number 2 selling MLB jersey, according to FanaticsMLB.com. I'm also anybody surprised? Anybody surprised with the top 5?
A little bit, but Bryce Harper, he made a lot of mess when the jerseys were trash. You know, like he was talking about how trash they were, and he was active, and he was like, "I'm still rocking my old shit." You know, so people were like, "Yeah, we rock our stuff. We rock with him." You know, so yeah.
And Philly has a big UK contingent, if you can imagine that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, with the London series, people came out for them for sure.
I'm going to tell you, I'm surprised that Judge isn't 2. Aaron Judge plays in New York.
He was 5, you said?
He's number 3.
So
it's Ohtani, Harper, Judge, Mookie, Lindor.
I can tell you why, man. And it's going to be a weird thing because he's a Yankee. Is that like there really isn't an attitude about him? Like Bryce Harper is like grizzled with the little beard, being like Philly, bah humbug. Like that's kind of cool if you don't know baseball like that. But Judge is a guy who's just very good at his job.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just surprised, man. The guy's monster year in New York, and he's popular, but you're right. He's not like, I feel like Harper, Ohtani, those guys have like fan bases, like real dedicated fan bases. I think Judge has a fan base simply because he plays for the Yankees. You know what I mean? Like he's the best player on the
Yankee. Yeah,
for sure, 100%.
And authentic jersey don't have his name on it too, by the way. So I'm paying $200 for Yankee jersey. I can't even flex.
It's 99 and it's no name. What are we doing?
Yeah, exactly. That's an ugly ass number.
All right, let me go through some other notables, and then we'll get you out of here. And just tell me if you're surprised about any of these. Stop me if you're surprised.
Gotcha.
Number 6, Ronald Acuna Jr. No surprise there. He's great. He's great. He's got a great personality. Mm-hmm. Number 7, Juan Soto.
No surprise.
No surprise there. Number 8, Jose Altuve.
Yeah.
Anybody surprised?
League villain. He's a league villain. Everyone boos him.
They do boo his ass every
everywhere he goes. There's like him and A-Rod still getting booed forever. Just boo.
Forever. So good though. Altuve's so good.
He's good.
He's a Hall of Famer. He's so good.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
He does get booed
everywhere. You know why?
Everywhere.
You know, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised because I saw this list the last couple years, and Houston shows out so much. I don't know how it happens, but the Astros seem to always like the popularity of Cal Tucker and Alex Bregman and all those guys. They're always high in the jersey, much higher than I thought in the jersey sale. Altuve's always been like, or Verlander, but like Altuve's always been at the top of the list. But like Houston has multiple people in the top 50. I know this is crazy.
Wow.
Tatis is number 9. No surprise there. I'm a little surprised that he's not higher actually. Then it gets weird. 10 through 20 gets weird. We'll go through fast. Nolan Arenado from the Cardinals is at 10.
Okay.
I was surprised. I don't like. I know he's good, but I'm surprised. Corey Seager for the Rangers is 11. Vladdy Jr. is number 12.
Okay.
And then you get Trey Turner at 13. And then you get our boy, the upstart, Ellie De La Cruz.
Hey.
Ellie De La Cruz at 14.
Wow. That's pretty high. I thought he'd be high.
I think
higher
that's
on the
high.
list.
I think that's high.
But
He's crazy popular.
stupid
Oh, yeah.
popular.
He's crazy and he's good. Don't get me wrong. He's super good.
He's a ball.
I think he's put to my argument was the O'Neal Cruz, De La Cruz argument for the next 10 years. I think that's over in one season. You're gonna want Ellie. Like O'Neal Cruz didn't do what he needed to do to have this argument. And I just think Ellie, like the kids love Ellie. He's coming through. Your boy Pete Alonso Flobo at 15. Any surprise there?
Yeah, I thought it'd be a lot lower, man. The thing about like I love my team, but when it comes down to like crossover stars, it feels like people put the Mets in a box, like they're over there. You know what I'm saying? Like not in a bad way. No, like not in a bad way, but like if Pete Alonso won the home run derby 5 times, maybe he might be 12.
Right.
But no one's gonna be like, well, is it gonna get the Shohei Ohtani jersey or Peter Alonso from the Mets? It's not gonna be a thing.
You know what though? Lindor is at number 5 and Alonso is at number 15. The Mets are showing some strength there with the jersey purchasing power.
Lindor had the MVP season, but last year they hated him. They won him
and we got through 15 and not one Oriole has been named. So you guys are doing better now.
See, you guys are unfair though. You guys are like surrounded by like 4 other teams on there, like with Nationals and all split.
But you know what though? You know what's surprising too? We got through the top 15. There's no Red Sox on the list.
Like who would even?
I'm assuming Durant.
Who would be
I mean, Durant had the streak, but like
I'm assuming like again they don't have any marquee names right now. Let's go through the last 5 here. Machado at 16. We just talked about Machado versus Jose Ramirez. Machado wins that because Jose Ramirez is at 17. Freddie Freeman and Clayton Kershaw 18 and 19, and then you have Adley Rutschman at 20. Okay, those are the top 20 selling jerseys.
Rutschman, that's
for
crazy.
2020.
Your boy Rutschman made 20.
Are we surprised? Anybody left off the list that you're like, man, I'm surprised this guy didn't make the list?
I'm biased. I thought Julio might make it.
You should be biased, and I think Julio. I'm surprised Julio didn't make it.
Does Jazz on the list? Jazz on the list or no?
No, Jazz is not on the list.
No, I was about to say
top 20.
That's probably a Yankee jersey I will buy.
Jazz?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With no name on it. Just
right.
Yeah, right. Who's that guy? Name that.
Who's that guy? Yeah.
And maybe it is because I've got this kind of Baltimore bias here, but no Gunner. I'm thinking Gunner's more popular than Adley right now.
Yeah.
But it all came late, I guess.
I think Adley went to 2 All-Star games though.
Yeah.
Like,
no, he did.
Yeah.
Gunner went this year, so it's like I love this conversation. I love to try to figure out who those marquee names are, and obviously you're looking at 3 and 4 being American-born Black players when you talk about Judge and Betts. Definitely want to see more of our guys on that list because that shows the strength of our community and our power. But who would be the next guy? We talk about this all the time. I wrote an article about this on the blog. If we're making a big 3, if we're making the big 3 of Black baseball, you've got Mookie, you've got Judge, and then what do we come down with? Is it Flobo? We can't. Marcus Semien is the third.
Yeah, Semien at the time, but I mean, there's still. I mean, Jazz is Bahamian, but yeah,
Semien's J. Cole.
Yeah,
Drake and Kendrick are up there, and then Semien's J. Cole.
my best buddies. Hey,
who? Troy? Do you got who's if we've got Betts and Judge, if you're looking at black players in the game, who's the next jersey you want to buy?
That's tough. It's not many options for real, unfortunately.
That's a good
Usually
question.
like I don't know. I've personally been wanting to kill Badu jersey. They keep bouncing them up and down.
Right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Wow.
I
All
mean,
right.
they,
We
I
got to see.
see
I'm gonna.
them, but
You know
like
what?
they're
I'm
here
gonna.
and there.
This is good. I'm gonna throw this out to the chat before tomorrow. We're obviously this podcast will be up streaming by midnight tonight. But I'm gonna clip up this and I'm gonna ask the audience, like family, Mookie Betts as Aaron Judge. Those are the highest selling black American born players jerseys in on the list in 2024. If you are going to buy a jersey of an American born black player outside of those two, who's the next jersey you buy? Who is that jersey? You can buy it for the future, you can buy it for now. Obviously, I'm biased, I'm selfish. I've got a couple on my list because I'm very close to this situation. I've got to think, man.
For me though, I mean,
Go ahead, Flo.
If you asked me this a year ago, I'm like, oh man, Tim Anderson. But I would say, right now it would be Devin Williams. I mean, because you got two outfielders. If I had the little Mount Rushmore picture, you need someone with the ball. So I get the airbender in there.
Ooh, because there's Hunter Green too. All right, so I'm gonna go. Yeah. I'm going younger because that's where my head is right now. I'm buying 3 at least, maybe more, but I'm buying. Maybe 4, but I'm buying a Will Benson jersey. I'm buying a Lawrence Butler jersey, and I'm buying a James Wood jersey.
Lawrence Butler,
hey, Lawrence
okay.
Butler.
Buying the futures.
That's a baller.
Yeah,
that's a baller right there.
I'm buying Will Benson because I love him. He's awesome. I'm buying a JoJo Gray jersey too. I can buy them all. I'm definitely buying a Will Benson jersey. I'm buying a Lawrence Butler jersey. I'm buying a James Wood jersey. I'm buying a Hunter Green jersey. Justin Henry Malloy, maybe give him another year.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's so many. I know I'm forgetting people that
I get a McRae. I like McRae.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's that Grant McRae out of the Giants.
Yep.
Hold on. Yeah. He's in Richmond for most of this year. He's awesome. He's an awesome human being. So, all right, gentlemen, this has been fun. We are going to wrap up our live here. Flobo, are you still sweating it out? What's the last count as we stand right now?
Still 2-0 Brewers on the top of the 8th as I record this. So I don't know how I feel right now.
Flobo's energy has gone down.
I don't know how I feel right now, man.
Hey, look, join us. Join us over here.
Come join us.
Land of the tears. In the land of the tears. Yo, shout out to everybody. We will be back Sunday night, and we're going to have some special guests on Sunday night. We'll be back on Sunday night. We got some special guests on Sunday night. We'll be getting you we'll actually be knee deep into the divisional playoff series, and we'll be getting it going. So thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back Sunday night, and you can stream this live. You can stream this on all streaming platforms after this. And last thing, shout out to our partners, Stilo Sports, the Players Alliance, Herencia 21, Numbers Game Scorecards, and Rebellion Harvest Sunflower Seeds. So check all of them out. Rock with our sponsors.